he was in all
Meeting
that.
of the Borough of West Easton come to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. DePaul.
Here.
Mr. Nixon.
Here.
Mr. Dees.
Here.
Mr. Thomas Nuttall. Here. Mr. Lewis. Mr. Henry Nuttall. Here. Mr. James.
Here.
We have a quorum. Approval of checks 15543 through 15564 from the general fund account and checks 2017 from the sewer fund account. I have a motion for the general fund account.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Check 2017 from the sewer fund account. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of deposits and receipts from November 2016. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I have a second.
We'll second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of minutes from November 14th and November 28th. Do I have a motion for November 14th first?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. November 28th, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that one.
Any questions or comments on that one?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Page 4.
Under grants,
Where it reads, Public Works Building was through HUD, it should read, the waiting word from HUD. It's not actually a HUD grant, I think that it's in the process of waiting approval from HUD.
Correction noted. Anything else?
Yeah, down under new business, discussion is tabled for a later meeting. That should read until June 2017.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of Treasurer's Report, November 16th. Do I have a motion?
I would make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions on the Treasurer's Report? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public comment. Anybody? Go ahead. Take the podium.
Mezzacappa, 817 Ridge Street. Is this the public hearing on the budget?
Yes.
Okay, I noticed that there was a $150,000 appropriation this year for the police. I'd just like to know if that can be a dedicated, restricted account to make sure that if there is no police department next year, that money doesn't get spent. I think you guys campaigned on that issue, that there was money in the budget and it didn't get spent on police services, so I'd like to know if that can be restricted in any way. And I'd also like to know why $50,000 is being taken from surplus this year to be put into the 2017 budget.
the $50,000 was from the money that was in the general account. We decided to use that money instead of raising our taxes. So we would hold fast on our taxes, wouldn't raise our taxes this year, and we would use some of the monies, some of the surplus monies that we had saved, so we still look for that one. And the other question.
The police budget, the $150,000, I'd like to know if that can be restricted to use only for police expenses, if there is a police department, and otherwise it can't be spent.
Generally, you would not do that. Generally, a budget would allow you to use one line item for another line item because some line items run above budget, some run less. It is not an uncommon thing to then adjust as you go along. This Borough Council has done it this past calendar year. You might do it next year.
We are all dedicated to pursuing this and to preserving that and moving forward with that. I think we have a good plan in place for our police protection. So, we're going to make every effort to support that and to continue to move forward with the police with that money, with those monies set aside. So that was about the most we could budget in this year's budget without raising taxes or anything for police. We figured we did a lot of work on this.
Well, I'll have other input next year as it goes forward. I think 150, I've spoken to other police departments that say you need probably about $1 million.
Yeah,
It's more realistic.
I know we couldn't afford that now without.
Just for even startup, but I'll read that. My last comment is for Matthew Deese. Matt, I've been in touch with the National Archives. I've requested your DD 214 discharge record. And all I need is your signature to release it to me, and they can send it to me. So would you like to sign it?
No, I would not.
No?
No. Why would I want to sign that?
So that I could get a copy of your discharge status?
And why do you need a copy of my discharge status?
Because I'd like to see what it is.
Do I ask for your medical records?
I checked off the DD Form 214. I did not check off medical, just the DD 214.
Well, you know why they have you fill out that form, right?
Well, I wrote to them and they said they need you to authorize it.
You know
And
why
I have
they
a
need you to
return envelope.
authorize it? You know why
Well,
they need
because
you
I'm
to
not the person who served in the military, and I'm not
You're
your
right.
right.
You're not a person who's serving.
Right, but
in the military.
it is, I am,
What do you want to know specifically about my military record?
I'd like to see what your discharge status was.
I said it was honorable. Do you believe it was different?
I'd like to see it from the National Archives.
Do you believe it was different?
I have some doubts.
You doubt my word.
Yeah,
You think I was dishonorably discharged?
well, there are several ways of being discharged, not just one or two. There are lots of different discharges. I'm just asking whether,
You're
I'm
not
not
going
going
to
to take
gently
up
lower.
time.
You're not going to gently lower a hook in the water. Put it
All
on
you
a
have to
pole.
do is sign
Put
it.
it on a pole and throw it out there and say you think I was anything other than honorably discharged, and I will put that pole back up to where you got.
Well, all you
that
have to do is sign it to clear it up if there's nothing you
I
have
don't
to
have to
hide.
sign anything.
What's the relevance of this anyway?
Election next year.
That's all right, I'll come back and give you another chance to sign it so I can get your discharge status.
You know what? I'm not going to sign anything. Why are you not asking Mr. James here about his discharge record? He was in the.
Because I have no doubts about his service
Oh,
or
you
anybody
don't? Good.
else's.
Then you believe him to be an honest person.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
How about Mr. Lottleline?
And Henry also, I have no
What's that?
doubts about
You
your
really
service.
believe him to be an honest person. You recognize the DD 214? Is that a DD 214? Is that mine?
Yeah.
What does USS Progress? What does this right here read?
Honorable.
Say it louder for her.
Honorable.
Okay, well then I guess you should have no problem letting me get the
I do have a
official.
problem. Your questions are done. Don't ever challenge my
Well,
military
I
history
think there's
again.
something wrong.
I think there's something wrong with you.
I think there's something wrong with
I
you.
think there's something wrong with you, Ms.
Yeah.
All right.
You've been trolling
proved you
windshields.
to be the type of person you are to put allegations, innuendo,
You've
and
been
insinuation out there,
You've
and I'm going to
been
fight
trolling
with you.
constable work,
You will
photographing
not get my
windshields.
signature for anything
It's
that's
not your
personally
job.
related to me, so you're better off
It's-
right now
it's not your
dropping the
job.
issue.
It's not your job to go trolling the borough windshields when I place
I
warning
think he answered
notices
the
on them.
question and the comments
To
that I have.
photograph them and
And the
then mock
questions
me.
that I have
on your
to
blog.
answer would be the $50,000 was put in specifically to cover, to do some of our roads next year like we did this year, which our roads are in pretty good shape now, and we're going to try to finish up some more streets with that extra $50,000.
So it'll
And
be
the
for
police
streets and
budget,
roads.
as far as the police budget goes, we plan to spend all of it, some of it, and if we don't spend all of it, we'll carry it over to the following year. That's the answer.
Fine. Then the last thing I wanted to talk about briefly was the quality of life ordinance. Is this being adopted tonight?
No.
Okay, well, regardless, I am well aware of borough ordinances regarding noise and property and nuisance and abandoned cars, and we already have weeds, and we have all of these ordinances already in place. The only thing that I read that I saw was new was that the borough constable, that the elected constable has to have permission from the borough to enforce ordinances, and the legislature already dictates an entirely different law for that. I don't need permission
No, that's a.
I don't need
address that
borough
to our
permission.
solicitor.
We are
to,
not.
I don't need borough permission, and if it's worded that way, I'm challenging it, and that's all I'm gonna.
Tricia, we're not done with that yet, but you did see, I did request residents from the borough that may want to help out. I did want to set some committees, and I did want input from residents. You're welcome to come and discuss these. These aren't set in stone. This quality of life isn't done. We realize we still have a little bit of work to go.
Well, I don't have a problem with it if you put it all in one, that's fine, but then you have to repeal all the other ones that are dangling out there that already address those issues.
We would just have this one to kind of supersede those, or to work in addition to what we have already. The idea was to kind of make it like an easy one-stop shop, and that was our goal. So, and we did ask for input, and we did take your input. We did take your input. So we are making changes. The document's fluid, so please don't take the document as you know, as word. The word. It's not done yet. We're still working on it.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and you're welcome to help out with that. if
When's
you'd
the
like.
meeting?
I'm going to set up meetings, and I'll put those on the. I like to do it after the beginning of the year, since it's the holidays now. So at the beginning of the year, I'll announce those. I'll put those on the website. I'm going to have one during the day and probably one in the evening for the people who have to work and stuff too.
Okay.
So
I'll be back.
make sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back next meeting, and Matt, you'll have another chance, because I'll ask again for you to
Sure.
sign.
Don't ask again, because you're gonna get the same answer. And
I'll ask
you
again.
found out what you wanted to know tonight,
No, I didn't.
so just give it up.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, engineers report, none, mayor's report, and I think Steve has an announcement to make before the mayor's report for.
I do. I have a separate commitment at Palmer Township, and with your permission, I'm going to ask to step down Attorney Robert Ayers here from my office, who will fill in while I'm gone. I hope to be back after I handle what I have to handle at Palmer Township. Is that okay? All right, thank you.
Will you Robert spelling of his last name?
E-Y-E-R.
Thank you.
Mayor's report.
Yeah. I'm interested in the sign. I showed everybody the size of the sign on the Tia's building over there. It's way beyond zoning allowed. I talked to Steve before he left, showed him a picture of it, and it's the whole side of the building. And
I don't have to read that sign as me.
And, well, it was on the other side of the building too. They were putting another one up today. I've had complaints from people living in the neighborhood, and they said, why do we have to look at a big yellow sign like that? And I bring it to council because it's a zoning matter. If they want to put a sign up that size by zoning, they have to go through the zoning board. They can come in, send them a letter, ask them, tell them that sign's way behind zoning allowance, and make them come in, buy a zoning book so they can read it, and if they want a zoning hearing, otherwise they got to take it down. It's way beyond. You know, that sign is so big. Here's a picture of it. I can show the audience if they want to look at it. That's ridiculous.
Joe, did you look at the temporary signs, permanent signs, two different wording?
There's one different thing, yeah. the
About 16 by
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's ridiculous.
Stupid word, it's not even there.
But they have one, they're putting another one on the other side of the building today. And there's 3 other
Is that
signs down
banner?
there.
Is it a sign? Is it a banner?
Also, Jerry.
Temporary sign?
It's something that's for you, right?
That's
So there's different rules than for residential.
So,
Light,
Next one.
heavy,
we do have some residents that took offense to the size of the sign. It's like the sun's coming up on that side of the building, and there was one on the other side of the building, but it blew down, and they had one folded out in the street today. I don't know if they got it up on the Main Street side or not. And there's one on the end of the fence. You know, how can they do that without coming to the borough and getting a yay or a nay? That's the way I feel about it.
Well, how do we address the problem? Should we send them a letter asking to?
Well, I just asked Joe, we have two different zoning rules. One's a permanent sign, one's temporary. Then we have banners, I believe, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's filled with, to me, could fall under 3 or 4 different things.
Well, what's the maximum size made of those? That sounds huge.
It's made out of canvas or plastic or something, but that's not the point.
No, I mean, what's the maximum size of
It's based on the linear footage of the front of the building, on one thing. Another thing says it can't be over a certain amount of square footage. It says
That's a
3
lot.
different things on the same thing.
There's a cap, 16 square feet.
It's probably more than that, Shane.
Or 16,
Linear foot.
or square foot,
Yeah.
square feet? That's bigger, isn't it?
And it's a temporary sign.
Temporary
Here's a
sign.
picture.
I remember
You
she
see the
came up
picture?
before.
It falls under real estate sign.
I mean, you don't have to look at it when you buy your driveway.
You should put on there, welcome to West Easton.
Yeah. And then, you know, nobody would have complained about it. Now, you know, last month I spoke up about the quality of life situation. After that meeting, somehow, I don't know if it was mentioned in the press or what, but I got a call from a realtor that they said West Easton is one of the most viable old towns that people are looking to move into. Now, you develop a quality of life ordinance that is restrictive. You're going to create more situations. Now, you got to watch what you put in it to make sure that it's not going to be that restrictive that people are going to look at it and say, whoa, do we want to come to West Easton with all those rules and regulations? I'm cautioned. I'm not part of the development of this thing. If you need me, I'll be there for you. But I would say that I think it's a good idea to get the public involved. Let them speak their piece on it, like you just suggested. I like to hear that kind of stuff. But hey, we have a realtor telling us this is a good town. Okay? How many complaints do we get in the office about deteriorating stuff? Tell me that. Not many.
No, we did a letter in the.
I think you get more complaints from individual councilmen than you get from the public. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And to develop a thing like that, develop an ordinance, to advertise it in the paper, we're talking about dollars. And, you know, I'm going to keep bringing this up till I leave. They accuse me of being frugal in my 50 years here. Well, I was frugal. And that's why we try to keep the town the way it was without intimidation and all that kind of crap. I support the council in every which way, but I think that take your time, don't rush and create something that's going to be a detriment to this town. That's all I'm saying. I voiced my opinion on it. I think it's a good idea to get things together so we have one document that says what it says, but don't go rambling off into the abyss and coming up with some stuff that is going to penalize the good people. I think it's being developed for the slumlords, the people that don't take care of their properties. There's a lot of people that have properties that aren't capable of affording to keep up with a lot of this stuff. That's the thing you gotta look at too, cost to the public. You know, we're talking about a small percentage of people that this is gonna be pushed at. And, you know, we've been freewheeling for a lot of years and it hasn't killed us. In my time in this borough. And this didn't come from me, it came from many, many councils over the 50 years. And the documents, I think that the documents we have, yeah, let's pull them together and put them in a document that we don't have to be scrambling for every little thing that we have to look up in the computer, and make it easier for the office staff. Don't make it a difficult document that it's going to be a penalty to the good people in the town, and because we have some bad people. We already have ordinances that protect us in a lot of different areas for slumlords and people like that. I mean, we got to enforce it. Like I brought up at the last meeting, I haven't heard anything yet, but in the zoning hearing that the hubcap store had, they were restricted the number of trailers they have. They've been multiplying trailers down like they're having babies. And still, they're allowed to do it. And you know where the complaint came from? From the fire chief. And if that ordinance is going to be made, then use it the way to his advantage, not to the disadvantage of the ones that are trying to do the right things.
Yeah, let me give you a little history on the ordinance. It came up in about February of this year. It was put aside in the spring, because we do have ordinances to cover.
That's exactly right.
And the only reason why the ordinance was brought up in the first place is because people didn't think the ordinances could be enforced from the year and the year before that. I'll give you an example. Deserted houses on Ridge Street. Nothing ever happened, and that's why that ordinance came up. But the properties got cleaned up. The ordinance was tabled for a while. Somehow it went back into committee, and the committee brought it out again. That doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. That could be tabled. It can be explained that we do have ordinances to cover everything, and some people think we didn't. So that's where it stands.
Dear Al, when we get together and talk about this, we'll definitely be invited, okay? Because we have a good input on this. This is our intention to try to regulate or.
That's my concern.
That's why we invited the public to help us out, because we didn't want to make rules that are restricted. A lot of the old ordinances don't need to be updated because they're a little bit old. So we just needed to update them. You know, there's certain words like swimming pools have changed a lot since we started.
Some good stuff that we don't have.
So I invite you to read through it a little bit too. So we're not trying to overregulate people. That would be horrible.
It's just a committee thing now.
Yeah.
Make specific suggestions.
Well, that's-
Tricia did that, she sent specific suggestions and I passed them on. Does
All
that-
right. I'm fine with that. I opened my mail today, and I've been getting Christmas cards from the White House since Reagan, okay? And I'll tell you, time flies when you're having fun. And Dan made a remark, this kid's really grew up, like most kids do. Here's a Christmas card, I'll pass it around from Mr. Obama and his family. Now, I've gotten from the Bushes, I've gotten from everybody. I'm not a big fan of some of the stuff that Obama did, but hey, everybody has their crutches, and everybody take a look at it. I mean, it's not a joke, Ronnie. It's something that I'm proud of. That at least they recognize the fact that I'm a mayor in a town that has a good council, and that's the reason I brought it up. I didn't bring it up for a road show. The public's here to look at it, and I think it's a good thing because it's recognition of our borough. And I even laughed when I opened it. I think, quite frankly, I thought it was funny. I said, "Look at this." Dan and Dave and Joan were sitting there, and they wanted to look at it too. So, you know. But I did start with Mr. Reagan. I think it was his last term. I got one from him, and then the Bushes, and then bushes, and
Clintons?
so that's my report for tonight. It is what it is.
Visitors' reports.
There is none.
We'll skip over executive session. Office report.
One of the things that did get put on the agenda was for the zoning board. When we went through, there were people who were picked on the zoning board, there's no terms, there's no anything there. I checked with Jeremy Clark, he's still willing to be our solicitor. I sent out letters to people who were most recently on the zoning board, and I haven't heard back from Leon Stahl, but Roxanne Kim, Steve Claver, David Kindrew, and Michael Kohler are all willing to stay on the board. And I just wondered if everybody, if we could like approve it, and we put Roxanne at 5 years, Stephen Claver at 4, David Kindrew at 3, Michael Kohler at 3. If we could, I don't know, vote on that, and then it'll be official, we put it in there versus somebody's here, but there's no terms, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't, in case we need it.
I'll make a motion that we set term limits for those people in accordance with your memo, and that we approve them for upcoming.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have a resolution number that we can attach to that,
Not yet, no.
so we can still pass it. But you can add Leon Stahl on there as a 5-year term. Maybe he's on vacation. Well, we can, I know we hate to assume
We'll
anything.
send it for the motion, and if he's not, take it.
And if he's
Okay.
not, then we can, you know, but I mean, it's better to include him now. So I have a motion for those.
I made a motion.
And time limits.
In the 5 years and the 4 years that she stated.
Do I have a second?
No second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
The other thing we were talking about in the office was liens for outstanding sewer trash bills. We have 6-ish that are over a year old. We discussed whether making the $600 limit once a year, it's about the same amount. We talked to Steve about it. He highly recommends it. We have to pay up front when the lawyer does it. When the house is eventually sold, we get that and interest and legal fees that will be included on that too.
The filing fees would be included on what they owe plus penalties.
That's my understanding. You said legal fees.
You want to set a limit of $600, or you want to set a fee of $600?
Well, just make sure everybody's okay with it. 600 or a year. A year comes out to 540. So I was thinking of just sticking it to a year. If it's nothing's been going on for a year, put a lien on the house. Now Steve was just saying you don't have to do it every year. Once there's a lien on it, they'll come back to you, and then you say, well, it was 700 then, now it's 900. So it's a way of making sure the borough gets its money rather than lose out on it.
I don't think we have to rule on that. I just think it's a policy.
I think that's correct.
Office policy that
And everybody's okay with it.
you would actually do normally without even bringing it up.
Right, we did it years ago, but David said it hasn't been done when he was here, so we didn't want to just go ahead and do it on our own.
All right, good idea.
And then we have the code enforcement.
Well, I have a question on that. What does it cost to pursue that legally?
Well, we get those fees too.
Huh?
We get those fees too. If it costs the filing fee,
Yeah,
we get that plus.
attorney fee plus the lien.
Right.
Okay.
You're asking what's going to be up front?
That's
That'd
all
be-
attached,
Yes,
that's all
do
attached on it?
you have that?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's what I was going to ask Steve.
But that would be attached to the lien.
Mhm.
Right,
Yes.
that's what Steve said.
All right.
And then we have zoning, Joe's been following through on several situations. The magistrate does have some citations, it's a matter of when he puts them, delivers them, or whatever the magistrate does. So hopefully that'll be taking place in the next week or two on some of our problem properties.
Is that it? Dave, you think of anything? You got anything?
She covered it all.
Okay, see you, bud. My report, I don't have anything at this time. Maybe under committee report. List of resolutions, we have a resolution tonight. Can you put a number? Can you put a number to this resolution?
And then we pick one. We have others in the book that are blank. We just fill them as we go along.
We'll put a number to it before everybody signs it. But right now, we don't.
We have a resolution to examine the possibility to start a local police department, part-time. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second to accept this resolution?
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. No ordinances tonight? Round table, anybody want to say anything, since this is our last meeting this year?
Since we were talking about office stuff, and I think a couple of us have talked about this, just on the cuff. Late fees for sewer trash bills. I would like to see us give some kind of grace period. If you paid your bill consistently, not been late for whatever it might be, 2, 3 years, set a time limit, and you're late once, you get a pass on the late fee.
We did-
Get another week or something, okay. I mean, I can give you horror stories. A woman, my neighbor, paid her trash sewer bill for 20 years, late one time, and she gets a $20 fee. It's kind of rough on somebody that's 76 years old.
I think we already did that.
We don't officially have it because, like, if you give them one day, it becomes 2 days, then it's 2
Well,
days and 4
I
days.
think we
you
should
know.
make it official, set a definite grace period to avoid the late fee, because if you don't set an official thing, someone is 4 days late, finds out that you passed somebody 3 days late.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're gonna scream at.
Well, how's the office been working as far as people coming in 1 or 2 days late?
Well, to be perfectly honest, the people who are coming in 1 or 2 days later are paying the $20 without even asking us. They're coming in and handing us a check with a $20 fee.
That's the ordinance.
That is how the ordinance is written.
I understand the ordinance, what I'm saying is, we can.
And my argument with that whole thing is, why should, these people are coming in and paying it on late with the fee, why should we give somebody who's and I understand, but I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Now, this past time, we sent them out the 14th, and I made the due date the 17th instead of the 14th, just,
Then the people that come in and pay early should get a reduction in,
That wasn't part of the discussion.
No, I understand
I'm just saying,
no, I'm not arguing a point,
I'm
but
just saying there's people in this town.
he just made the point that, you're gonna create a situation.
What's the situation?
The office, I think it should be left up to the office. Somebody comes in on punches and said they broke their leg, or their leg came in a story.
Exactly.
I think they're sensible enough to know.
All right, I'm telling you, am I wrong? If we allow the office to make the decision based on the story they get, someone is gonna give us a problem because their story is just as good as the next person.
Then
Well, you're not gonna
that
argue
should
one
be
or
a
two,
part
you're
of
not
the
gonna argue
ordinance.
1 or 2 days. And I don't think they argue 1 or 2 days now, do you?
Well, I
He
mean,
just said,
Well, if they pay freely.
but I'm just telling you that if the payments are due the 17th, anything that's in the night drop, in our depository on the side, on the next morning is considered on time because it was dropped off overnight. Once those payments are processed, I run late notices. So then the $20 fee is a charge. So do you want me to sit and not run late notices, wait 2 days or whatever to run the late notices, or how do you want it done?
You give forgiveness gets around to the rest of the public, and all of a sudden you're gonna have late people coming in across the board saying, well, hey, you got a policy that go 2 days late, 3 days late, whatever
and they
it
get
is.
away with it once. This is why it's not an ongoing thing,
Well,
because once they're late, they lose that that,
We're creating a
All right, well, we
situation.
wrote the store bills up that
Okay,
time.
all right.
How many
Hey,
people
this
came
is
in
a problem.
and got fined?
this is a problem, last
for not paying
council,
their
this
store
is a problem with the last council had with angry residents that
bill?
didn't get
No,
passes.
this happened this year.
And I
not last
figured I would
time.
put it out there, if you don't want it, that's fine, this is what a round table is for,
It's-
I will drop it.
No,
Keep
it's,
charging people $20.
the thing is, consistency is what you want in your office. Don't put the burden on them. Put it on yourselves. If you want to make an ordinance to that effect, then put it that way. Don't put the burden on two people.
Nobody does.
Don't
I
leave
did
the
not
bad
put it
guys.
on them, I said, do we want to institute a policy? No one does, so I'm done.
They would be the bad guys, Matt.
I'm, Mr. Mayor, it was a round table, I brought it up for discussion, nobody wants
I'm
it,
finished. I'm finished.
charging the $20, I'm with it.
Anybody else? No. You want to say anything you want to say? This is the last meeting of the year.
Hey, I want to say something. I want to tell Hank Conley you did a good job.
We're not done yet.
Well, that's all right. You did a good job. You're a master of destruction.
So, to give you a little update on that, when we tore up the old wood and got rid of that, we looked at the structure. The guy that lives in the house property alongside of us, about 15 years ago, got permission from Walter Rand to fill the alleyway in. Which, when he did that, that's a pole beam construction back in 1911. So that means that the footer's there, but they lay an 8x8 on the ground and they stand poles up. Well, when he closed that off, all the water went into that lumber and rotted it all out. So when we were cleaning out inside, the whole back wall was shaking on that pole on construction. We were actually afraid it was going to fall down. So I took the doors off, went around to the side where the meter base up there, I took that off, and with the excavator, one bucket, I pushed a little bit, and the thing fell down like a ton of garbage. That's how bad it was. But between Dan and me, we cleaned it all up, but we need another dumpster. All right? In actuality, if you had to bring somebody else in to clean that up, you're probably looking at around 10 grand for doing all that work. So we saved some money there. But the biggest thing I can tell you is this: the footers and the slab are in good condition. We could put another garage on there a lot cheaper and easier right on that footprint without changing anything. And you can wind up having a garage away there that leaves this borough garage open for a police station. So that has to get done. Now there's ways to do it. You want to put it out for bid, or you want me to design something that maybe we can get some people to come in and do it for labor costs, and we buy the material.
Since you're on the subject, I went out to the state garage, and they have nice buildings out there. Well, they're wood buildings. They're very nice, and the guy.
I understand what you're saying, Jerry, but then you got to tear out the footer and slab.
Well, if it's not going to be adequate to put salt in, that was one of the prerequisites that they were talking about originally. Now, if you're changing that idea, see, that's where I'm coming from right now. If the use of the building has to be first before we decide what it's going to be. If it's going to be a storage building, okay, the footprint might be right. But if it's going to be a storage for salt and equipment, then it might not be the right thing. That's all I'm saying.
No. Well, the way we're progressing with the police department, we're moving step by step to get it there. We're saying within the next 5 to 6 months, we get a police chief that will finalize and push our police force. That's what we're hoping for. At that point, this borough garage has to be the police station. And what are you going to do? There's no room. So what you're trying to do is get away as cheap as possible with something that houses our trucks and our plows and stuff, and our gasoline out of this building. So, listen guys, all this construction work I did my whole life, I can design something. I designed your pavilion up there. They didn't let me build, but they did, but I put a lot of houses in this town. I can design something off of that footprint that can be reasonable enough for you to have another garage at a really reasonable price. Or, put it out for bid and the thing will go for $80,000. Because it's prevailing wage. Anything over 25 is prevailing. That means instead of the guy getting paid $30 an hour, he's going to get paid 60. And that's your option.
But I think you're kind of giving a
we still have that.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying we should start doing it, I was just, I was gonna do the preliminary for it. And then from there, you have that decision. All right, you do what you want. The building's down, it's cleaned up, and after that, it's vacant land. But if you're gonna build something, that's the best place to build.
When Bill McGarry suggested this, this was Bill's idea. Bill wanted a public works building. Now, Bill built a firehouse up there, and the other one wasn't adequate. If we're gonna build something and don't build it right, we're gonna penalize the future people of this town. That, all I'm saying is, that's a study matter. We just don't do it, shoot it from the hip and say, this is what we're gonna make.
I don't know.
No, Hank, I'm not, all I'm saying is being reasonable here, that study something before we decide for a plan. I think Matt hit the ball on the head, on the head there.
Well, we have a grant out there to take care of that, but I think it's a good idea if he wants to do it on his own, come up with a design, fine. We don't have to act on it, just like our quality of life thing. It's in committee.
Yeah, you just said, it ain't costing you a dime.
It doesn't cost us a dime.
We're not worried about
It's not
that.
gonna cost you a dime, you know, and you'll have a figure what it's gonna cost. If you don't wanna do it, it doesn't bother me.
No, it's, the point is, use first, then a plan. Why would you waste your time if you don't know when you built your condos up there, you know exactly what you wanted to do.
Well, here's the whole
And you
thing.
know something? Looking at that footprint, I know what I wanna build up there.
Exactly.
Well, to make a nice, metal
You
box.
do. Wait, you do. Does the council want to do it, or do they want to study to make sure what you build is the right thing? That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm
He
saying.
shows us the plan.
Yeah, well, once he makes the plan, we can look at the plan, we'll know if that's what council wants, that's the right thing. If not, he wasted his time for nothing. but-
The most, no, well, hold it, the most important thing is, we will get a grant or we might not get the grant. So if we don't, we have a head start.
Listen, I can listen to Indian in business all his life.
You know,
I spec out warehouses, 100,000 to 500,000 square feet. And the company always told me, don't undersize what you're doing, it's going to cost you money in the future.
listen, Jerry, the point you gotta remember, the slab and concrete is 25 feet by 45 feet.
All right, I'll come up with you. Can I come up and talk, you show me, all right? All right.
And the point I'm saying, doing that, it's already in place. To put another building up there, you gotta tear all that stuff out. All that has to go, has to be recompacted to bring it up the park, and then you can put another building on, which you're wasting $20,000, $30,000 at it, which would cost that much to put the building on. So you do what you want. I'll give you my opinion. You don't like it?
Hey, I just complimented you. I didn't mean to get in an
I'm
argument.
just giving you input, that's all.
Do you plan on putting the salt,
The salt,
store the salt?
wait a minute, before you even go to salt, we got a lot of, what, the MS4 thing now?
I
and
know.
All the regulations and
That's my
the
last
water
one.
runoff from salt, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
I understand.
Well, see, that's the reason why
Drainage.
we talk to it. We talk to the thing and make sure that everything is right. I didn't criticize the fact that to build a building. I'm saying that make sure we do the right thing for future. That's all I'm saying.
You got water runoff from the salt,
That's
that
what-
might be a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Anything you do like that.
anybody else? Committee reports, finance. Have anything?
The budget is,
We should have put
been
the cash
advertised
out.
for 10 days. And, we're ready to proceed with the budget for 2017 as advertised.
So we'll do that, under unfinished business. Pass it. Vote on the budget. Property, anything? There's something, that still has to be done up the lot?
Yeah, we
Clean
got,
out the drainage, trees?
we have to get one more dumpster in to finish up, about a half a load. And that's what's stopping the excavator from going back, because the little loader we got won't put that number, put it in. We've been after them, Joan has, they said they promised to drop one off tomorrow morning. I have a doctor's appointment at 2:30, I told Dane that I would stay with him, get it loaded up, get the machine back. and get that all resolved tomorrow if it's possible, then we're completely cleaned up. We had somebody who was gonna pick up the trailer and haul it out of there, and so far he's reneging. If that's the case, I know somebody else that might wanna pull it out of there to get rid of the air compressor. I don't know what we're gonna do with that. Dan was discussing that, and that's the only other thing that's left on there. If it's any valuable, we might keep it or not, I don't know. Other than that, it'll all be cleaned off.
What about the trees and the
There's
dirt?
some, where the building fell down, or what happened was there was trees in the alleyway. There's 6 of them. So I called the tree guy and said, just what would it cost just to cut them all down and just drop them and chop them up, and the guy up the street would take the firewood. And he came back with a price of $650. Now, no matter what you do, if you're not gonna go with that, or you're gonna go with a salt shed, whatever, those trees still gotta come down. And the price is $650. I told the father and son I would mention it tonight, to see if he's gonna do that. They've always been fair, and they do great work. So I would suggest you cut the trees down. You know, with whatever you put there, but that's why we lost the building. The one limb came right down the middle of it and smashed the roof in. And that's what put the end to the building.
You don't need it.
So,
Let me ask one question.
$650.
I want to ask one question. If it has to be done, I can see that. But if it's on a lot, and if someone can cut the trees down and they're only going to fall in the lot, I don't see any danger to it. Is that something that you can do, Dane, or not do? Or would want to do?
The problem is getting rid of all the debris afterwards.
Well,
He chops it all up.
I would say this to you, I'd have somebody with a credit clean tape, insurance purposes, drop it, cut them up, cut the limbs off, let the other guy pick up the wood and haul it to his property, this place up. That's the reason why we cleaned the building up. We were afraid if a kid got in there and it fell on him, killed him, we'd be in a heck of a lawsuit. And that was the whole reason.
Make a motion.
Isn't a lot of that gonna be cleared when, if we get to this building being built? It's gonna have to be taken down anyway.
Well, we have a chance to do it now, and how much of a grant we get, we get it all what we want, or we get half, I don't know.
This seems reasonable, $650 for 3 trees. And they'll take away the debris.
Hank, who gave you the estimate?
Listen, I think the guy gave us a good price, but did you want to talk?
No, who gave us the estimate?
It's,
Jane, okay,
Tree line.
yeah.
thank you.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we get the trees cut down to $650.
I'll second it.
Discussion. I can see Matt's point. If we get a grant, will that money take care of all that? I don't know. Probably would.
It's just preliminary work that we can do ahead of time. When we get the grant, the better, the more money we can put in the building to make it a nicer facility. If we're looking at a multi-purpose facility in which we want to, we want to make our police department and our public works department in the same building, we're going to need somewhat of an infrastructure. So 650 is not that much to clear.
Any other discussion? Anybody else?
This centennial Christmas tree, I was asked what happened to it. Well, it died. And I planted 2 there, and they look forward to that tree in the corner. So I will replace it. I'll put another one there at my cost, my own price. I'll pay for the whole thing to put it in.
Is this one of those trees he's talking about?
No.
Oh, we have a
This is a
motion.
different subject.
Oh, I'm
We have a
sorry.
motion.
I thought you said
We
it's
got a
right.
motion here.
Is there anything else on the round
What are we
table?
talking about?
We got the
Okay,
motion
now.
to cut the trees down for 650.
It's my cost.
We just say, yeah, the other guy that's.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Voice, take a voice.
Mr. DePaul,
Yes?
Mr. Nixon,
Yes.
Mr. Dees,
No.
Mr. Tom Nolan. No. Mr. Henry Nolan.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
4 to 2.
Mayor, you had something?
Yeah.
About a tree to
The
plant?
the centennial tree up in the corner, I planted it at the centennial. It's a centennial Christmas tree. The wiring's there, the plaque is there, and I was asked about it, how comes we didn't, what happened to the centennial tree? I said it died, but I said I'm willing to put another tree there. It died a couple of years ago. And I guess Dane took it out, the dead one. And I'm willing to put another one in up for nothing. Another spruce tree or whatever, blue spruce or something like that. Because it was a nice thing for the centennial in '98. And I think the dedication of it was that it would live as long as the borough of West Easton did or something like that.
All right,
So and as soon as I get a chance to pick one up, I'll put it in for you.
all right.
All right, thanks.
Next is public safety. We passed the ordinance tonight. And maybe I should set up a public safety meeting for Thursday the 15th. Is that okay with you?
What time?
10? 11?
Yeah, no, 10 is probably better, but I won't be able to stay until 12 o'clock.
Okay, that's fine.
No, actually, 11:30 I have to be out here.
Oh, that's okay, that's fine. Legal?
Do you want to set up the one for the following week too, or another day?
Yeah, we can do the, we can do 19th on a Monday.
Same time?
Yeah. Legal committee?
Nothing to report. We'll address the quality of life issue after the first of the year, first meeting of the month. We'll set up a couple of dates and I'm going to organize a public committee to talk about the quality of life issues. So I'll do that after the first of the year.
Utilities, anything,
No, I have nothing at this time, Mayor.
recreation? So, the sign have to be put up yet?
Yes, it's still can put up.
Okay.
Jerry offered his son to help Dan.
If he needs help, I can get him help.
Are we going to discuss a dedication ceremony for the mayor, or are we just going to throw up signs?
The mayor said.
The mayor said, just put up the signs.
Yeah, well, he would say that. I think he's waited like a year and a half. He's probably given up.
It's his decision.
Should we wait till the weather breaks? Wait till the time for a little dedication?
I'll stop it for now. I won't bring it up again when the weather gets better. That's just rude.
Right.
50 years this man's been in the borough, and some of you don't want to throw him a dedication for a couple signs that are going in the park.
Hot dogs.
Joe, you want to answer that question? Because I don't think that's a statement that's totally...
No, it's not like nobody wants to. Jerry said he was tired of waiting.
Tired of waiting?
Going on forever.
Yeah, that's pretty much the attitude I have too.
Well, I wondered if we wait till the spring to do it with the apron,
Yeah.
could there be people there?
Yeah,
That'd be
think
great.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it gives time to get it in the newsletter.
Wilson Page. Give them bunny ears? I like that.
Okay, we can talk about it. Behind the mayor's back, we'll talk about it. Grants? Anything, Matt?
Nothing.
You get this from Bob Friedman?
Yes, I did.
Okay, don't need it? Nothing in there?
Well, I think that was the one that,
Got a match.
yeah, it's like 70% or something, and
Yeah.
I think that we on a list. We got an email today.
Everybody-
No, we're talking about Freeman, the $1 million.
Everybody got one of those.
Oh, $1 million.
We have to match 500,000.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about, Freeman.
Yeah, we haven't even brought that to a committee yet.
Uh,
You got, you got
I don't-
one.
I don't know if we,
That's the kind of grant for Palmer, for places like that that have the tax base to support a match. We don't.
Yeah.
I mean, why is he?
500 to start.
I mean, it's nice that he sends them out to constituents, but it's not doing us any favor.
We have the $500,000.
They should start looking at, and I've said this to Bob personally, I said, about time you start looking at the small boroughs and start some legislation that the grants are particular for them. Because we have to fight for every nickel we get, and it's damn ridiculous. I mean, if I have to go down in flames with him, I don't really care. I'm tired of this kind of, you know, look what I sent you. It's bullshit. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but it is.
Well, he's looking into something for me, and it's been a month now, so I'm gonna have to go down to his office, I guess, again.
Jesus, man.
So anyway,
Dan's the one that told me 70%. I just looked at the possibility of it. I said 70%, you gotta be kidding me.
unfinished business, 2017 borough budget. Do I have a motion to pass it?
I'd like to make a motion to pass the 2017 borough budget as advertised.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I think we went over the budget many, many times. It's the first time in a long time that I've seen so much input into a budget. Want to take a voice vote, Dave?
Mr. DePaul,
Yes?
Mr. Nixon,
Yes.
Mr. Dees,
Yes.
Mr. Tom Nolan. No. Mr. Henry Nolan,
Yeah.
Mr. James,
Yes.
5-1.
That's a no tax increase budget.
That is correct.
New business.
Yes, I have some. For the last year, I've been asking these people for setting up microphones so I can hear. And if you don't do this, I'll get a class action suit against you. How's that practice? You know, I don't hear half what's said, and I hear people talk about me, and somebody else tells me about it. Anyway, you know, I talk loud. Some use whispers, you just talk to your paper, I don't hear you. And I've been asking you to do something. You know, I have a handicap. I'm also a councilman. Now, somebody should get around and find something I can understand.
Tom,
What's going on?
sorry, Hank, they've been busy, but I did talk to them about looking for, but they've been busy too.
I understand that.
Some kind of amplifier system for.
But when Jerry said something, I don't know if he's talking good about me, or he's calling me an idiot. I don't know. And today, he talks his paper, and I get some of it. But you're asking as a council member to give his opinion, and a lot of times you'll hear him say, I won't say nothing because I didn't know what he said.
Hey,
So why should I answer?
there's the speaker.
Well, they're only for show, Jerry.
There's
They're only for show.
Yeah, they're only for show.
No. When we built this building, Bill McGarry, right
Open up
there.
that, there's nothing in that plate.
Wait, before you
We-
go into
we-
it, Jerry,
Jerry,
hold
we
it.
had
Wait a minute, hold it.
Hold your ears.
We had, who came in, Joan Phillips,
Yeah, yeah.
and gave us a price of, there's nothing in the ceiling, the floor is empty, there's nothing in that box.
I don't believe it.
Almost $10,000
Yeah.
for a full-blown
Well,
speaker
He
system.
said the wires.
And this is coming from somebody that knows about sound equipment. So they were in here and researched this thing.
They were here, what,
I was gonna say almost half a day till they got done with their.
I'll talk to Bill about
I
it.
have an idea.
I will, because he
Give me a headset.
designed it.
Hire somebody to repeat what everybody else has said to me and in the other rooms, and then I can know what the hell's going on.
We can get an interpreter in.
Sounds like a plan.
Remember, we asked you, we thought you had something that you had, that made it better, but you said it didn't?
I didn't hear a word you said.
Neither did I, Henry.
And I asked Joan and Dave.
Yeah, we asked Henry this morning, because one of the first council meetings this year, he had something about the size of a cell phone that he was amplifying, but for it to work in a room this large, he would need 3 of them, and there's not.
Listen, I checked it out, thinking maybe I could get 3 of them, for one over there, one here, one there, and they said that doesn't work that way. It only applies for one. I hope for one, I can hear it, but it only goes so far. It's designed to be sitting at a table where you're around, and it takes within 8 or 9 square feet. Beyond that, it's unlimited. So that was the point. That was like $500 for that.
Let me look online for something that's omnidirectional, something that we could put right in the middle. that
Good idea.
fits-
I was just gonna say that. Good.
You
Glad
know,
you said it.
I try to find something on the internet and all that, and I can't find anything. I tried to cost factor, but it isn't a nuisance. I don't want you to scream, but that's the point. I mean, my hearing is bad because of all the construction work and all the bad stuff I did over the years. That's my own fault. But the sad part, I'm a council member and I deserve the right to hear what's going on. And I have to tell you to yell. That's your choice. You can't whisper to me. I don't need a speaker. When I talk, you can hear me. I mean, that's my nature. I just can't help it. But I'm just letting you know how I feel. So only half the stuff I hear, and some of the stuff I should be disagreeing with, I'm agreeing with because I don't hear it. All right?
So I can go check that.
I'll look for something
I sort of tried and then just.
omnidirectional. Either that or I'll get him one of them big horns.
I got another issue to bring up. I want to make sure it was done. Did we vote on the dates for next year and the time start?
We voted to advertise, we still need to officially approve it, because we had to advertise it before they were approved.
See, that's why I brought it up.
Well, we advertised it, right?
We advertised, yes.
So I guess we should.
Do I have a motion to have our dates set for our council meetings next year plus the time?
6:30.
I don't think we passed it. That's
We
why I'm
voted
bringing it up.
to advertise.
Well, how do you
No.
advertise it if it's not already passed?
We
Yeah, we did.
made a motion to advertise it,
So we did advertise it, so.
Yeah.
but we didn't make a motion to pass it.
No. The same way with the budget, you
Yeah,
had to
that's-
advertise it, and now you
Yeah.
You
I
go
thought
after
budget-
them.
budget was proposed, this was done, whatever.
I'll make a motion to keep our dates, to have council meeting dates as advertised.
And time,
And time is 6:30, thank you.
Is that a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Second session?
No executive session. Before we make a motion to adjourn, anybody else has to say anything? Because our next council meeting will be January 9th.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I have one thing to say. I think this council did a good job this year with all the things that happened and the handicaps that we had. The streets got done, some properties got cleaned up. So,
Functioning committees?
we have
The borough manager.
a city manager, we have committees that are active.
I think one thing that was accomplished, Dan, and it was something that I've been pushing for years and it went on deaf ears, the functionality of committees. I think the committees that are part of the borough now are functioning at a high level and they're doing an excellent job of putting things together, and it's not being done just slipshod. There's a good opinion being made before and then presented to council. So I think committees is on the right track, and it's a good sign for the future of this borough to have that much interest in the council, to have a committee meeting on a regular basis. It's something that is an extra over and above the call of duty thing, and it's always tough to it's easy to say, I can't make it, but these guys have been at it and have done a good job with it, and I feel good about the direction they're going with committees. And I thank you for that, for the residents of West Easton.
Working with the county, we have a list of things that have to be done in order to start a police department. We're moving along, I think, very well. And I think on January 9th, we might be appointing emergency management coordinator. There's someone in the borough that's interested. So we'll see what happens on January 9th. We might have an emergency management coordinator. And I'm proud of this council Motion to adjourn.
No, I should have brought that, now you're all talking about this stuff like an unfinished business, where even Jerry said before, where do we stand now, like if we get a big snowstorm or whatever, as far as being able to get things towed or whatever, are we trying to still get something in place besides this emergency management thing for the new year?
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna need someone, like a code officer or whatever, like we were talking maybe?
I call the emergency situation, snow emergency. Dan and I were talking, and he has a candidate that we may be able to just hire for that purpose for now. And he's an officer, right, Dan?
Right.
And there's a possibility that we could hire him just on a part-time, so much, the council had to decide how much they want to pay him to enforce the ordinance, snow emergency ordinance. If we can get somebody to do that, that's been a real bug last year. We've had, Dane will tell you, they'll be coming down the street, and all of a sudden there's 2 cars there, we can't do anything about it. The tow companies won't tow on our authorization. They just won't. Easton Auto Body would not do it.
Well, let me ask a question. If I would assume he's got a policeman of some kind. Yes. Would we have to authorize a policing authority to perform these tasks of having a vehicle towed?
I could swear him in, and on that basis, we could develop something on enforcement of snow emergency ordinance.
Could be a police officer. The
Yeah.
certain fact is a police officer elsewhere. He could not be a police officer in West Easton. He could not do that.
All right, and how would he have authority to have a vehicle towed when the towing company would order a police
That's
officer?
the problem. This could be our officer to do that. It could be the West Easton Code, snow emergency officer.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily translate. That when you call Easton Auto Body or anybody else will actually honor it. I think what you might want to do is, if this is something you want to consider, first we clear that. And see if this guy did this job, and we swore him in as our emergency snow officer, would you guys honor the tows? And, once you know that answer, then you can make an informed decision as to what you want to do.
You can repeat that.
Go ahead.
I researched it last year when I came on, and I went right up to Easton Auto Body, and I don't remember the form number now, but in order for any private towing company to tow a vehicle, a police officer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has to fill out a 1-page form, which states that he ran a license plate, and he tried to find this person, and all the person's rights were honored. And until that officer signs that form, no private tow company, it's not just Easton Auto Body, none of them can tow a car off a public street or private property. So what Steve is saying, you need a police officer because one of the things you have to do is run a license check. That's the biggest problem. You need a police officer who has the authority to contact the control center and give the proper code to run that license. That's been our
But he's
problem.
saying we can't hire him as a police officer.
No, that you can't. You have to have an ORI number. You have to go through all these steps that we're going through to qualify to get an ORI number. The 911 center wants to set up 2 meetings with public safety in order to move forward.
Well, something has to be done.
There's a lot of paperwork that we're putting together to do that. And tonight, one of the resolution is one of the steps that we needed to do. We needed to pass that resolution, plus other things. We need a mission statement, we need department goals, which were samples that I made up. So.
The thing is, the safety for Dane when he's plowing is a problem. You get a big snow like we had at 33-inch, and you're plowing up against cars. Next thing you know, you got even they're illegally. They're going to come in here and you damage my car. They were wrong by letting it there. They had plenty of time in advance. It's notified online and at the radio TV stations. So we just have to have a vehicle to enforce it. And snow's coming. What Chicago got, they got 33 inches.
It has to be a police officer, there's no other person.
Police officer is the only one that can run the license plate through the control center,
Yep.
through DMV. So it has to be a police officer.
Wow.
It's like a catch-22.
Yep. Yeah,
You can't
it's
tell.
a hard place thing.
You to get the thing for Dane? Put it on Chuck? No?
Well, we'll just have to knock on doors and politely ask. It could work, I mean, you know.
Yeah, well.
So I have a motion to
And
adjourn.
before you adjourn,
Yes,
I've been ordered by Council President DePaul to issue your fourth quarter checks this week, so they'll be in the office as of Thursday.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Motion said, I have it, we adjourn.
Hey,